Hello and welcome to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Jack Luffman. How are we?
I thought you'd almost forgot your name then.
I did. I'm back in Lincolnshire. You lose brain cells here.
Do you have brain cells in Lincolnshire?
Well, that's a good question. Good question.
Right, I'm going to apologise in advance now because for some reason my camera seems to be doing all sorts of weird stuff today, including zooming in and out, which look pretty sharp, but I've no idea why it's doing it. But on today's show, we're going to be talking a bit about Premiership, or obviously the lead up now. We are 15 days away from the opening of the Football League, and 15 days away from the mighty Leeds day out, which is an exciting day for the boys in Dubai. We're going to talk a little bit about cricket, golf, which is currently going on, a little bit about the ruggers, and did I mention? Yeah, I mentioned cricket, but we also have an interesting challenge this week. It's almost like a mastermind event, isn't it, Jack?
It is, and actually, look, I mean, you can't see. I'm actually in a big black chair here.
Oh, yeah.
The old boys. So.
Okay, right. Well, for the challenge this week, for anybody that's not so sure, because we obviously can't compete against each other, this is going to be over a 2-week period. So this week is going to be me testing Jack on Spurs. I've gone with a little bit of a strange theme about this, but I'll allow you, Jack, to mimic this for next week to make sure it's all fair and above board. But yeah, we're going to test Jack's knowledge on Spurs with 15 questions. And we've gone with the kind of question of sport theme where it's going to be home or away.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You can choose the difficulty, but obviously it's going to be worth more points.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over to that in a second, and then obviously we'll carry on as normal. But then next week we'll decide what happens. So we are going to go over to Stu, who's currently in San Francisco, ready for the challenge.
Very good. Very nice.
Sure, I'm in the studio now. Right, okay, Jack. So you've got 15 questions to answer. We're not going to do it within a time limit. I'm going to give you the home or away option. If you choose home, this is going to be worth 1 point. You'll get a multi-choice question, or you'll get multi-answers. You'll get 4 answers to choose from. If you go away, it's just down to you to pick the correct answer, and it's going to be worth 3 points.
Okay.
Okay, very right. So let me just...
Do the questions get progressively more difficult as they go through, or are they just all the same?
All random.
Oh, okay.
Random. Right, okay. So the quiz I've gone for says simply 15 simple questions on Tottenham every fan should know the answer to.
Have you disappeared, Stu, off the screen?
Have I gone completely? That's because I'm on my other screen in the studio ready to do the quiz.
Oh, okay, we'll go with it. I'll tell you what I'll do, so they can just look at mine. Okay.
I'll tell you what I can do is I'll come back on the screen, and there we go. Oh, and let me see if we can get it up on my phone to make it so you can see me throughout. Let's see, my zooming in's gone all crazy.
It looks like you're going off the bottom of the screen. There we go.
I'm back again, am I?
Very good. While you get that up, how are you feeling?
Oh, rough.com. For anybody that doesn't know, I've taken a bit of bullet. I've had my hernia operation 2 days ago, and to say that it went well, as in the fact that it's happened, it's done and dusted, but oh my goodness, it is painful. So they stick a camera through your belly button, and they make 2 incisions, obviously, to do the operation either side of your belly button. So basically just rummage around your stomach muscles and cut that to shreds, which is not polite, to say the least. But what about you? We've not done this, but you have been selected for Watford Woodall, just while I bring my questions up now. And have you made the first or the second team?
We're going with the first team, really, lad. We're going with the first team to Market Deeping, which is probably the biggest trip of the season, on Saturday. So I think there are a few short, and then we trained last night. So, but the interesting thing is that they've got a couple of injuries, a couple of people are ill, so they're lacking bowling. So it looks like I might get to have a little bit of a bowl with the new cherry as well.
Oh dear, the club's in tatters. If you're walking straight into that team, what is going on?
But they've been going all right, so I don't know. But yeah, so last night we trained with PJ. Obviously, first time I've been under PJ, if you like, as the head coach. Good session. My hands are ringing this morning still. So yeah, we're in for Saturday. It looks like I'm playing Saturday, Sunday, then the club tour obviously kicks in on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, golf Friday.
Wowzers. Busy week for you, Jack. Busy week. Right, I'm ready. I'm quiz ready. Right, okay. So question 1.
Okay.
Jack, you're going to have to keep mark of your score because I'm currently got the quiz on my phone, which I was going to keep mark on. So question 1, which is a nice, easy question, I think, to start with. Would you like to go home or away?
We'll go home.
You go home, so you want the 4 answers. Okay.
Yeah.
What year was the club founded? Was it 1872, 1882, 1892, or 1902?
You said it was easy. I've got 1872.
You've got 1872? Okay,
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll do the answers at the end. So just remember, question 1 was home.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We love the good old internet technology.
Brilliant.
So I should have just kept it on my screen. It's all gone wrong now. Right. Okay. Question 2. You went home or away?
We'll go. I think I've got that one first one wrong now. I think I'll go. We'll go home again. I need to get something on the board.
Okay. What name was the club founded as? Was it Tottenham Hotspur, Tottenham FC, Hotspur FC, or Spurs?
I think it was Tottenham FC. I think it was B.
Tottenham FC. Okay, we'll click that button there. Okay, question 3. Home or away?
We're going to go away.
Okay. What year was the club renamed Tottenham Hotspur Football Club?
Oh no, goodness. I've got 0 idea. 1902.
None of them are on the answers, so we'll just click one of the answers so we know question 3 is definitely wrong. Question 4.
Home.
Okay. Who did Tottenham Hotspur play in the first competitive match in 1885?
Is that a home question?
Was it St Albans, Sutton United, Stoke City, or Stockport County?
I don't know what I'm travelling. I'm going to go St Albans.
Ooh. Question 5. Home or away?
These are ridiculous. Home.
Home. Who did Tottenham beat in the FA Cup final in 1901? Was it Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Southampton, or Scunthorpe United? This is not doing my stomach any good, this.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday, we're going with.
No idea.
It says the title of the quiz is 15 simple questions.
Oh my goodness.
Right, okay, question 6.
Home.
Home again. Tottenham became the first team since Preston and Aston Villa to do the double in which year? Was it 41, 51, 61, or 71?
61.
61. Okay, next one. Home or away?
Home.
Home. Who was the first £1 million plus signing Tottenham made in 1988? Was it Waddle, Clive Allen, Gaza, or Paul Stewart?
Clive Allen.
Next one. I think this one's an easy one.
We best go home then.
You're going home?
Away.
Away, okay. Who did Tottenham play on the 15th of August 1992 in the club's first Premier League match?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. 15th of August 1992. I've no clue. Southampton.
Oh, that's one of the options. Who did? Oh, home or away?
Home.
Who did Tottenham beat 2-1 in the final game at White Hart Lane? Was it Man City, Chelsea, United, or Liverpool?
They beat Man United. But it's 4-1, I think, not 2-1.
You think it's Man United?
Yeah, definitely Man United.
Question 10.
Yeah. Home.
How many League Cups have Tottenham won in their history? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Three.
Okay, question 11.
We're going to go away.
Away. How much did Tottenham sell Gareth Bale to Real Madrid in 2013?
This is... It's around 90 million, but I don't know if it was just under or just over. It's going to go 89.9 million.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you two choices here. It can either be 85.3 or 95.3.
I don't think it was over.
It could have been 75.3 or 105.3.
It wasn't under 95.3.
95.3. You have been locked in the answer, my friend. Question 12.
Away.
Okay, who did Tottenham set a new club attendance record of 85,512 in 2017 at Wembley against? And it wasn't an English team.
It was Champions League. 2017. What date?
Yeah.
Did it say the date?
No.
I think it might have been Real Madrid in the Champions League.
I'll let you choose again, but it has to be a German team.
No, it's the other side. It's Dortmund then.
Dortmund?
Yeah.
Okay, question 13.
Home.
What is the capacity of the new stadium? Is it 60,062, 62,062, 64,062, or 66,062?
I think it's 64,062.
Yeah, that has been in. Right. Oh, I think this is quite a difficult question. I'd go home on this one. How many matches did Tottenham record appearance maker Steve Perryman play in? Was it 654, 754, 854, and 954?
Yeah, I know he played that. I'll go 754.
754. Okay, and your final question. Home or away?
Away. Let's finish big.
Who was Tottenham's first Premier League fixture against in the new stadium?
Oh my God. Premier League fixture. Brighton.
It's not on the answer.
Don't know. Southampton. Let's go Southampton again.
I've clicked something. Right. Okay. So let's reveal your answers. Question 1. The correct answer was 1882.
Yeah.
So no marks for that. Question 2. Correct answer was Hotspurs FC.
Was it?
So still no marks. Question 3 was 1884. Incorrect for you. You picked 1880. Question 4 you got correct. St Albans was their fixture.
1 point.
Who did Spurs beat in the FA Cup final? Was Sheffield United, not Wednesday. Question 6. Tottenham became the first team since Preston Villa to do a double. It was 61, so correct. Well done there. First $1 million player was Paul Stewart.
Was it really?
Not Clive Allen. 8. Who did Tottenham play in 1992? Was Southampton.
Oh, that was a 3-pointer.
Yeah. Who did Spurs beat? You were correct. Manchester United. How many League Cups have you won? 4, not 3. How much did Tottenham sell Gareth Bale for? 85.3 million, not 95. Record attendance was against Leverkusen. Capacity is 64,062, not 62,000. Yeah. Record appearances for Perryman is 854, not 754. And the opening game of the fixture was against Crystal Palace. So what did you get there, Jack? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points?
I got 7 on here.
You get 7, did you? That was
4, 4 home and 1 away.
Well, you get 3 points for an away question.
Yeah, I got the attendance right. 64, no, 62 I had.
Oh, no, you put 62,000. It was 64,000.
Oh, I wrote 64,000 down there.
Oh, well, I'll give it you then. So how many points do you get in total? 7.
7.
We'll give you 7. 7. So congratulations, Jack. 7.
Mastermind.
So, mastermind.
No passes.
Not quite.
They were difficult.
Well, the quiz says simple questions a Spurs fan should know. Read into that what you want, Jack.
I'm going to find you wait for yours next week, let me tell you.
27% correct.
I'll do the same format, don't worry.
Okay, I look forward to it. Right, okay, so let's move swiftly on. So we'll wait to see what happens next week with the challenge. See against points, because it's currently 5-3, is that right? Still 5-3?
Yeah, 5-3, yeah.
Some much needed points. So I'll get impossible questions next week, like what number did Ronnie Whelan wear during the Crystal Palace game in 1883, something like that.
I would say number 5. He always wore 5.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Right, so we'll look forward to that. But let's have a quick recap of what's going on at the moment. So cricket, England won last night, was that correct?
Yeah, they got hammered in the first one there at it's the day I was flying, Tuesday, picked the same side, and it's interesting. There's a bit. They probably only. I think they did get 240 odd at Lords yesterday, and people sort of said, "Oh, it's not enough." But it's funny because look, I was talking to my dad here, saying Lords is not a good white ball pitch. It's not the flat belter that others are that you expect probably 300. That said, against India, I still felt they were probably 30 runs short. But by all accounts, they've come out and absolutely bowled and fielded superbly well and won by 100 runs. So I'm pleased for Josh Butler because they've kind of, obviously they lost the T20 series 2-1. And I saw the game on Sunday and I just felt that the influence of Morgan cannot be underestimated. You know, and obviously he's out there at the frame now. I think Butler is the right man for it, but they just look a bit frazzled, a bit hectic, a bit not quite as cool as calm as they have been. So I'm pleased they got the win, and hopefully he'll sort of build into the role because it's not an easy thing he's doing, keeping wicket, captaining, particularly in the real short format of the game. So hopefully that will set the rest of this white ball season up nicely for them and see what they are. But, you know, they're not batting-wise at full strength now, but they're not at full strength with the bowling either. So, a good win. Well, a very good win.
So, is there one more game left to play in this, the ODI, or is that done and dusted?
I think they're playing 3. I think they're 3, and then they play a similar white ball series against South Africa, who are over before the Test match series. So, we've got a few fixtures left, and then they must. So the T20 World Cup is in Australia in October time. So they must play some T20 stuff before that as well. So, I think the problem is that, like I said, without people like Archer, who would definitely be a shoo-in for the white ball T20 side, probably Mark Ward, without them being fit, their bowling options look probably not as strong as they have been. Rashid will make a huge difference, but he's been on his pilgrimage during Eid, so he got relief to do that. As we know, they all have to do it at least once in their lifetime. So he's been there. So he'll make a difference when he's back playing, without a doubt. So it's a big year coming up for the white ball team, that's for sure, because they play T20 World Cup in October. Then next year, obviously, they'll look to retain the other World Cup, which was won 3 years to the day yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just while we're sticking on cricket, before we move off onto a different sport, predictions for this weekend for the old Woodall Spa CC.
We'll get it. We'll go win. We'll win it deep in Saturday, don't we? We'll win. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and Luffman, 6 on the board.
We'll get as many as we can. I did struggle a bit last night with the conditions here. Actually, it's very early on everything, so I'm having a one-to-one session with PJ this afternoon. He's going to throw some balls at me, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll do as best we can. I'm looking forward to it anyway. I'm going to be the old man of the team now, Stu. Old man, but in the team by about 20 years, I think.
Oh well, you are pretty old on that.
Thanks.
It's all right. Right. What we'll do is we'll whip over to the golf, because obviously we are, as we talk now, we've just started day 2 for some of them. Actually, some people have just finished. There's a guy that's just finished now that I was watching before. I can't even pronounce his name. Kalakavechia, who is 60-something years old, 67, I think they said.
Oh, Kalkavechia. Mark Kalkavechia.
He nearly fell over the bridge getting up to wave to the fans, who's just finished and retired. I don't know if they said 60-something or 72. I can't remember if it was 67 or 72, but what an achievement still to be playing professional golf at that age. So I doff my cap to you, sir, even though you did get plus 21. Apart from that, it was interesting yesterday because Ted Bizarrely, as I stuck it on, is Jarvis. Was it Jarvis? Jarvis, the amateur, at one point was actually leading the scoreboard, and he's coming from absolutely nowhere. There's one. I think there's a couple of amateurs in the tournament, but yeah, at one point was looking. I think he was on 4 under. And he's he's now on 1 under, so he's not had a great start to the second day for him. But at the moment, we have got at the top of the leaderboard is Young, who's on -8. Gooch has reeled him a little bit. He's on 7 under. Played through 15. Kim, and I tell you, Johnson's come from nowhere. Not really particularly people picking him out before the competition. He's gone under the radar. But Dustin Johnson is currently on 6 under. And Scheffler, is that how you pronounce it? The world number 1?
Yeah.
He's creeped in there as well, and he's on 6 under as well. So it's going pretty well, actually. And it's, to be fair, golf's not that bad of a watch if you're watching it on TV because it bounces to and from. But what a terrible game to watch if you stood there live, because it is drab. It is one of them drab sports to watch. Up there with cricket, I'd say.
No, yeah, I've not. I think I've seen a bit of golf walking around it. I find it always quite relaxing. But St Andrews, you've seen how burnt the fairways are with the weather, and unbelievable. But yeah, it was good. I watched quite a bit of it yesterday morning when I was up, and McIlroy got himself in a good position after day 1. So hopefully he doesn't have a shocking second round like he did in the last major at the Open after a good first round. So because it'd be good to see him win again, I think. Yeah,
he's currently tied 3rd under 6 under. But my pick was Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay. He's currently 4 under. He's had a decent start to today. And I also had Xander Schauffele, who is 3 under as well.
I think he was the favourite going into it because he won last week at the Scottish Open as well. So my 4 golfers
Go on, sorry.
My 4 golfers that I picked in the little thing was McIlroy, John Rahm, and I can't remember. And then the outsider was Moronk, who at one point was +7, I think, yesterday. But he got down to +3 by the end of it, so not too bad.
Beautiful. Right, so we're keeping an interesting eye on that one. But yeah, it's going well, and they've had a little bit of rain today, so it's helped soften up the greens a little bit, which has made it a little bit easier. So I can imagine the guys that are going to come out from this point onwards will gain a major advantage with that softening as the day goes on.
And do you know what? Before we finish them, that's the one thing that the controversial live golf based out of Saudi Arabia. They're obviously playing. What's one thing they're doing is that they all go off at the same time because shotgun start. Yeah, because they're saying a lot of times in these majors. So like yesterday, the guys went in the morning, it'll go the afternoon today, and obviously vice versa. That there can be such a swing in weather that it's very advantageous. So it's an interesting line, an interesting approach they've got, that Live, to do that, and I quite like it. And again, talking about watching it, they're saying I haven't watched any of it live, I must admit, not for any reason, but I've managed to see any of it. But so it's a good watch because everybody's at the same time. So instead of having to watch golf for 10 hours, you're down into 3.5, 4 hours. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it'd be interesting how the conditions change over the weekend at St Andrews, because of course, absolutely right on the coast. Anything could come in off that northern sea.
Certainly can. Right, shifting over to football. So there was been one major game since last week. Liverpool played Manchester United in a pre-season friendly. I actually scoured the internet to try and get this game live. I wish I'd never bothered now. Which was interesting because it was interesting to hear that perspective from the commentators. So United started the game okay. Liverpool started the game okay. Massive void in regards to what teams Liverpool put out compared to United. I would have said that United started with, wouldn't be far off their best 11, other than the fact that Ronaldo wasn't in it. So it was De Gea in goal, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Fernandes, what's the French guy called? Rashford was in there as well. Martial. So you'd say that not far off their proper 11, maybe one or two changes. And the opening exchanges, although United went 3-0 up in the first 34 minutes, Liverpool hit the woodwork twice, had a couple of good chances. Carvalho hit the inside of the post. I think Diaz hit the outside of the post, and it was very much an even game. I'd say down to mistakes, but Liverpool pretty much played three teams every 30 minutes. They changed the team, full new change, and it was only the goalies changed at half time. But it was really a bizarre thing. So it was interesting. The commentators saying, "Oh, you can see how Ten's got the team playing and how they're pressing," and it's exactly the same way that Wreck-It Ralph had them playing last year. I couldn't tell you any difference to the way United played, other than the fact that Liverpool made the mistakes that United scored off.
I did read a bit about it, and they were saying that. So somebody made a comment about, and we've talked about narratives a lot on the podcast. So somebody talked about the fact that basically, what a great result for Man United. And so we're saying, but it's just, Liverpool. It's this pre-season friendly. It doesn't mean anything. Liverpool made all the changes, which is absolutely fine. You make of a pre-season friendly what you want, don't you, at the end of the day. But the interesting point was, they said if Liverpool had beaten Man United 4-0, he'd have been up for the chop, effectively. Not fully chopped, but they'd have been right at him, the media, wouldn't they? And it's dead right, that pre-season friendly, they are what they are, aren't they? But I think probably for his I don't know, self-worth, for want of a better phrase, that he probably needed to win that. And the fact that he did it 4-0 gives him a bit of, because the deluded Man United fans, which there's plenty of them out there, will be thinking, oh, we're going to win the league now. But that will help him. That will help him as a manager because he's got him on side straight away. But yeah, it is interesting.
But yeah, I couldn't have said they didn't play any different to probably how they play with Wreck-It Ralph, other than, like I said, Liverpool made some bad mistakes. Liverpool's right back, I think, costing the first one. Sancho was the other player who was missing that scored the first one. Then it was a mistake on the other side, and then young Nat Phillips came on, and not Nat Phillips, the other lad, the young lad, the Preston lad, he made a mistake, and Martial got in. But you know what it is, it's Liverpool play Palace today, so I expect the team to be a little bit more settled, and we'll see how we go from there. But young Carvalho looked good for Liverpool. He like a couple of nice little touches, but dead bizarrely, I thought he would have been higher and wider, and they actually put Harvey Elliott higher and wider and kept Carvalho in the middle. So interesting, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're starting to heat up nicely now. But a few interesting rumours that are going around at the moment with regards to transfer. So Jude Bellingham's been speculated about probably for the last 6 months where he's going to go. signs are saying now that Real Madrid are going to start to pursue that a little bit more closely and look to try and push that through. While the other favourite to get Jude Bellingham's signature is Liverpool. But
yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I think Liverpool, knowing Liverpool and how they work, is that I think they've done their spend. You know, like the big signings, Nunes, Darwin, he's come in and they put the money in there. They don't tend to go with another big signing. It's usually one key marquee signing and then a couple of other little ones dotted around. So if Bellingham is to go in this window, I can't imagine Liverpool being for him. I don't think they've got the coppers for him.
It'd be a great signing, that thing. And you know, my opinions, I think people like that need to be in the Premiership from an England point of view. And yeah, it'd be great if he was at Spurs, but if not, I think just anywhere in the Premiership would be great for him.
Yeah, I'd argue that he's probably 3 times the player that Calvin Phillips is, but City went for Calvin Phillips.
100%. Different types, I guess, to a degree, but 100%. You know my fears of Calvin Phillips. I think Leeds have done some great business there to get 50 million for somebody who can pass the ball well, but 3 yards sideways or backwards.
Yeah. Another interesting one is Frankie de Jong has turned around and said he definitely wants to leave Barcelona now. It turns out they owe him around about 17 million in not paid wages. But he's categorically come out and said he ain't heading to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which is interesting because I listened to an interview this morning with Jamie Redknapp saying that he thinks de Jong's in one of the best holding midfielders in the world. He's in the top 3 holding midfielders in the world, and what a signing he'd be for United. But yeah, he's basically ruled himself out of going there. Meanwhile, sticking on Manchester United, Ronaldo has had an offer from a Saudi Arabian club.
Yeah.
And then also interest from Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid for the Portuguese player.
I don't think he's. I know that I saw something yesterday saying that he'd been pictured in the gym with a pair of Man United shorts on. You know, he's not. I do not think he'll play at Man United this season. Now, whether how that transpires in terms of transfer fees and wages can clubs afford him, that I don't know. But I cannot see him playing for Man United. Other than there's a scenario where they can't get rid of him, they can't sell him, or whatever it might be. They can't afford to have him sat on the bench in the reserves, not playing, cancelling him out, money for playing him. So, but again, that opens up a can of attitude, team morale worms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If there's any pre-season, he doesn't really want to be there, or you know, Ten Hag feels that like he's got to pick him, then you know, doesn't bode well for the rest of the season.
It also makes me wonder, will we see better of Fernandes with Ronaldo not being in the team? Because he's really capitulated since Ronaldo's arrival. That first 6 months when he arrived in January to the end of the season, he was fantastic for United. And then since then, he's been almost non-existent since Ronaldo's arrival.
Yeah. I mean, I said last year, I think that prior to Ronaldo starting, it looked like Solskjaer had actually got a system going. And then they signed him sort of late in the window, didn't they? And it kind of upskittled that. We shall see. Time will tell. That is for sure.
In other news, Spurs look like they're ready to land the young lad from Middlesbrough, Spence. So I believe it's going to be around about 12 million, but add-on could take it to 20. Is that right?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so I think a good bit of business, and obviously a little bit unproven at, well, not a little bit, very unproven at the top level, but he certainly looks like he's got it. He didn't have a very good playoff final, but I don't think anybody played particularly well that day, and that's just one of those things, isn't it? But I think certainly fits the mould of what Conte wants from his wing backs. So it would just be interesting if they get him over the line. I think one of Doherty or Emerson will go.
I tell you, it's interesting. I had a little look at Fantasy Premier League this week because it's just refreshed itself. I've had a little go.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So just 3 other little stories I just want to cover. The other one is Arteta looking like he's gone back to Man City to raid there after getting Jesus. It looks like he's on the verge of signing Zinchenko. So again, probably somebody he's worked closely with at City that he can see that's going to obviously help support and stable Arsenal, maybe move them on another level. I can't see it. Again, we always do the James Milner reference, is that are you going to win the league with Zinchenko? Are you going to get in top 4 with that type of player?
I mean, I actually think he's a decent player. And but you're right. Is he first? Well, he's obviously not a first choice top 4 player or championship winning player, because else he would have played every week. That said, I actually think if they get him over the line, it's a good signing. But where's he going to play him? Because Tierney is a better player than him as an out-and-out left back. So is he going to go to a 3 and play them both, one as a wing back and Tierney inside? Is he going to play Zinchenko as a wide left player? That's the thing that is not a bizarre bit about it. But surely you don't sign Zinchenko, or Zinchenko's not going to go there and sit on the bench again.
No, you wouldn't have thought so.
I mean, I know Tierney's injured, isn't he? He had a bad injury, so I don't know how fit he is for the start of the season. So, interesting one again.
Right, so the other two I wanted to look at, the quick one is that Leeds United are supposedly closing in on Paris Saint-Germain striker Arnaud Kilomuendo, who's 20 years old, and I reckon they're going to stick out 25 million for an unproven young pup. He's only 20 years old. And one, again, involving Leeds, is that Newcastle are in the hunt and looking like Leeds, but have been in the region of 20 million for Jack Harrison, which I thought was an interesting one, because Harrison has done really well for Leeds United. And again, probably a little bit like Rafinha, and, well, other players that have come through, is our Leeds just selling up now and accepting that they're going to be relegation fight and just cashing in on the players early?
It's difficult. I think Jack Harrison, he probably didn't have as good a season last year, but obviously from Man City, I think he's a good player. So it's strange, isn't it, that you've got to have one eye on, the future in terms of, the likes of Phillips. Forget my opinion about him and Rafinha. They're always going to try and move on and get the right money for them. But you can't just keep selling and not really replacing them or going unproven all the time, because, like you say, you're going to find yourselves in a lot of bother. It's interesting. He seems to, this American fella who's in charge, Ted Lasso, it seems like he's just going through his people he knows, a little bit like Arteta, people he knows from his time in the Bundesliga as that assistant, or American people, American players. And I'm not saying they're not good enough, but that's a bold move when you're going to be lower half of the Premiership, the world's toughest league, isn't it? Be interesting. I wonder whether he might be one of the first people to get the boot next season.
Yeah. Well, we did mention last week we're going to have a little look, or Jack's going to come up with his thoughts for the bottom 3 for the Premier League. Have you had any thoughts, and especially with what's going on now, are Leeds going to be potentially in that cluster of clubs that could see themselves go down?
Yeah, so let me just get my notes up on this. So I did have Leeds in the mix, I think. Excuse me. So I don't think they're particularly great, as people know, and they've arguably lost their best players, or going to lose their best players. So let me just find it. Apologies for this. There we go. Yeah. So I think Leeds will be there. You can't ever look past the people who get promoted, I don't think. So Forest, I think, will struggle as much as I quite like them to stay up. They're a big club, obviously. We have a soft spot for them. They're the closest one to where we live, and obviously a bit of history with one or two former players there. So I think it'd be nice to see them, but I think they're going to go down. And I think, I don't know, Bournemouth. For the 3, you can't look past the 3 that come up for me, with Leeds in the mix. And I think Brentford might struggle a bit as well, because it obviously looks like Eriksen's going to go. And he certainly, because they started well, didn't they? Then they went a trot, and then when they got in play, and he certainly invigorated a bit of creativity. I think going forward, they're decent as long as they get the chances, but I think they dried up prior to Eriksen coming in. So yes, if I was to be a betting man, and the 3 I'd pick would be Forest, Bournemouth, and Fulham. I think the 3 that come up will go down.
Okay, and you think Brentford and Leeds as well? And there's one club I'm going to throw in there that I think might struggle this year. depending on what they do with regards to their loan signings, it's going to be Southampton. I think they got some really good loan signings in last year, but the quick lad up front's gone back to Broja has gone back to Chelsea, and I can't imagine they'll probably let him go now because they've got no strikers. So I think it'll be key what Southampton can do, because as much as we like Ward-Prowse in the middle of the park, he's another year older. He's in there with Romu, who again is another year older, whose legs are getting heavier and tireder. And I don't know. I just don't see what depth they've got there, Southampton. So I agree completely with the teams you've named there, and I'm going to throw Southampton into the mix as a team that might see themselves dragged into that group.
Yeah, I agree with you. Although they've proven us wrong in the past, haven't they? Old Ralph there has proven us wrong in the past. But I think the other two sides probably that Crystal Palace could struggle a little bit. You know, I know Vieira's done a great job there last year, but again, a lot of that was based around, not just around Conor Gallagher, but that was a great loan signing for them. And they were a club that, you know, always there or thereabouts. And do you know what? I know it's nothing against Potter. I think Brighton could always, if they don't get off to a good start, Brighton could struggle because they don't score enough goals. So unless that's what they did last year, they got off to a good start, which meant that when they had their dip in form, it didn't make much dent on them. So I think a lot of these clubs, it depends how well they start, doesn't it? They start okay.
Sorry. I was just going to say then, just before we disappear off, is fantasy football is around the corner. We're currently having a look at a few options, aren't we, Jack? So I've asked Jack to have a little look at the Telegraph Fantasy Football. We've got Fantasy Premier League. There is one run by the Sun, which begrudgingly I will have a look at, even though I'm a Liverpool fan. And Sky Sports also have one. So we are yet to decide which format we're going to go with this year. Love Fantasy Premier League and the enjoyment we get from there. But just find it mega frustrating if you miss that week. That 1 week can just absolutely ruin you. And the good thing about these other ones... Go on, sorry, Guy.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, and the good thing about some of these other ones is that I know the Telegraph one is you get 40 transfers, I think, for the season, and then that's it, you know, and you can use them between a certain window. So you manipulate it whenever you want. So you pretty much, and I think the Sun one, which I've done in the past, which isn't actually a bad one, is you get transfer windows, a bit like you would do now. So you get a chance to alternate your team. You know, I think you might get 5 transfers within that window, and then you get that chance to change it. So you really have to stick true to your guns with these ones.
Yeah. I've had a little go already, provisional go at the Fantasy Premier League one. Not bad, I don't think, but we'll see what happens. Before we go, just a quick shout out to all the rugby teams down in the Southern Hemisphere that all won last weekend, and I've given them a shout out to win their respective tournaments. It'd be a hell of a victory if Ireland could go beat New Zealand again at the weekend to win 2-1 there, and then obviously England to beat the old enemy would be very sweet. So we'll see what happens there.
Rob Coachu won't be happy.
Oh no, he's never happy, is he? He's never happy unless he's in his flip-flops and a stubby in his hand.
Yeah, true story.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Jack,
what do we know?